This is a difficult one. It really depends on whether or not you think that they're reputable. Generally, I would say that where the case isn't particularly complex, where it's not of especially high value, where perhaps, for example, it's a high street bank, then I would go ahead and use a claims company if you didn't want the headache of doing it yourself. You've got to accept they're going to take 25% compensation. In a way, that's only fair enough. You know, it's quite justified for the service that they're offering if they're taking away the headache and doing it all for you. And also, they do have experience because they're dealing with hundreds, if not thousands, of these claims, and they know they know how to deal with banks' objections and the obstacles that banks deliberately or sort of institutionally put in their way. So, if it fits those categories of claim, and if, as I say, you've managed to establish that the company is a reputable one, by the way, one word of caution here, simply being registered on the Ministry of Justice's register, in my view, it is good, but it's not sufficient. Perhaps word of mouth is a better way. One other way is simply asking them questions and checking that they've got pedigree. For example, that they've been in business for a long period of time, which will demonstrate to you that they're a little bit more of a credible company. Anybody who's in for the long term in this sector is perhaps better to go with than a bit of a fly-by night. There are plenty of cowboys who are making money whilst the sun shines, making hay whilst the sun shines in this sector. So you've got to be careful of fly-by-nights. You could ask them also whether or not they're affiliated with a law firm. Sounds like a bit of a personal pitch for my own services, but I think it demonstrates those claims companies that do have a law firm affiliated to them. It means that they've got, where the claim is particularly complex or of high value or fit certain other criteria, then they can refer it on to the law firm. And for companies that I've had dealings with, I've been pleasantly pleased where they've introduced me claims because they've said, well, we're not quite sure. We've been given an answer by the bank that they admit that the policy is being missold, but they're offering us X. Or in some circumstances, they're saying, accept our offer. Once you've accepted our offer, an admission, a goodwill gesture, then we'll tell you how much refund we're going to make you. That gives you a sense of the sorts of problems that an introducer or claims company faces. Where that is the case, they may feel, perhaps the bank is rolling over too easily, and in fact this claim is of a far higher value than we're giving it credit for. Let's turn to a lawyer to see if he can help. They'll then either introduce the case to the lawyer, or they might take paid for advice from the lawyer themselves. So the presence of a lawyer, an affiliation, I think is one, not essential, but I'm giving you examples of tests that you can conduct to check that the claims company is reputable. But at the end of the day, it's down to you, really. So those are the two. So I mean, I think use a claims company if you want the headache removed, or it's a relatively standard claim, of which the vast majority are, by the way. The vast majority are.